What's a man or a king? What's it a saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man or a king? What's it a saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted, this what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, fresh off of flopilization, or flopflation, however you want to do it. You dudes is flopping and dropping, we understand. But we're going to get into purchase, mergers, and acquisitions. Dudes who have cash and don't. People that could or they won't. People that can go inside a restaurant and purchase but don't. These people are the people that you thought could do things, but they really can't. You know those dudes that be stunting on the ground, but they're really not that man, that really don't got what they can do in a video? You know those guys that front all the time and acting like they got it, but they don't? Yeah. We're at a point right now with Sony where dudes are trying to figure out who the hell is this dude and what's really happening. And I'm trying to tell you, man, hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. And if you ever say to yourself, yo, King, why is it always salt with you dudes? Understand, man, I like to squabble. I like to squabble, man. So if you want to clip it, put it up, do what you do. But I'm going to make sure I do what I do. And what I want to do here today, what I want to do today is I want to break down why them broke dudes ain't like us. They ain't like us. We're different.
Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
See, a lot of times we go through stuff on this channel. We look at a whole bunch of things. We go through mergers and acquisitions. And I want to be very clear. When Xbox is doing mergers and acquisitions, individuals feel entitled to the point where Microsoft shouldn't be able to do that. That becomes a monopoly. Microsoft will take the games and segment it off to the Xbox consumer. They shouldn't be able to do that. That's wrong. It was an uproar when the ABK deal went through or was going through. That's how Hold the Line happened. And, these things, to an extent, people get upset because they want to choose a side. They don't know that Xbox doesn't purchase the largest third-party developer to just make games just for Xbox, whereas the Xbox brand isn't as strong as a lot of brands that's out there. I believe the Nintendo brand is strong. I believe that, stronger than the Xbox brand. I believe the PlayStation brand is stronger than the Xbox brand. I'm not saying that the loyalty and fan base isn't there. What I'm saying is globally, we're talking about a global entity. Those brands are strong, but what is stronger than those brands is the Microsoft brand is an overall stronger brand. They couldn't parlay that over into gaming. And what they needed to do after they realized that no matter how strong the parent company is, it doesn't supersede what the video game brand is. The video game brand itself isn't stronger than the video game brands that are out there. Now, it's strong enough to defend itself against outside entities coming in, like Google Stadia, stuff like that. It was able to fend off a lot of outside entities. Like Steam couldn't get in the gaming space when they wanted to make a console. They couldn't get a foothold past Microsoft. Microsoft was actually so when it comes to it, the first barrier of entry is Xbox. And then the next entry, I would say it could be, and given the year they flip flop, could be PlayStation, and then the final boss is Nintendo. But some years they flip, the final boss be PlayStation, where Nintendo's the second barrier, whatever. So it's these things. But throughout the whole thing, what we've learned now is consolidation is going to happen in the marketplace. Games are going to get purchased by people. I mean, companies are going to get purchased and gobbled up. So a lot of questions went out, and it came to our attention that Kadokawa, and I know you guys is like, who the hell is Kadokawa? Well, Kadokawa is the parent company of FromSoftware. FromSoftware, if you didn't know, is the illustrious company that has made the Souls-like genre. They are the fathers, the grandfathers, the OGs of Souls-like, right? So it came to our attention that Kadokawa was in talks to be purchased by Sony. Now, I always tell people, where there's smoke, there's fire, and this is basically what it was. So over a month ago, Sony was in talks to buy Kadokawa, and a lot of these people were talking about how this is going to happen. And a pretty astonishing piece of news, it seems that Sony is in talks to buy Kadokawa. According to Reuters, Sony is thinking about buying Kadokawa, which would have a massive ramification for both games and anime. From a gaming standpoint, the big acquisition would be FromSoftware, which Kadokawa has a controlling stake in as of 2014. So they have a controlling stake in FromSoftware, and it's so weird that in certain companies, people can have a stake in a developer that you have there, but don't have the complete company. They just have a controlling stake and say they have a large say-so in what happens. Admittedly, Sony has a small chunk of FromSoftware along with Tencent. But a new setup would put Sony much more directly in charge. Considering Microsoft's recent acquisition of Activision, it makes sense that Sony will go after a company like FromSoftware via Viva Kadokawa. Sony has a long-standing relationship with FromSoftware going back to the 90s and the original PlayStation. In theory, this could be a good matchup. However, the only concern with this is that the Japan studio, as Sony has gutted recently, and the same thing could happen under Sony to from software, and that would obviously be awful. So what he's concerned with is, during recent acquisitions from Sony, they have destroyed whatever companies that they pull in, right? Sony, I don't know if they know how to manage multiple companies while allowing them to still be their self, right? So I don't think they understand that. I believe Sony knows the Sony way, and they believe that the Sony way is a certain way, and if they're not living up to that way, it doesn't work. A lot of times you get a company that is built on an ecosystem that is very diverse and very different. From what I heard with the Bungie acquisition, they destroyed pretty much the environment that was inside Bungie by getting rid of community directives, community social stuff that they were doing that kept a culture alive that was inside Bungie, that killed the artists in Bungie and turned them into like a soulless machine of productivity, which the productivity dies after the soul leaves the body. So on the other side of Kadokawa is anime and manga to output. Sony already has Crunchyroll and Aniplex. So buying Kadokawa would bring a huge amount of IP across anime and manga under Sony's roof. Now, see, that is where Sony is fortifying their IP structure. They want that anime. Anime is what they want. Kadokawa also has a sizable chunk of the Western anime press, having brought Anime News Network and also owning Bookwalker, who ran GX Plus. Right, so in short, there's a lot to take, but a dramatic impact across the games and anime, not only Japan, will also be globally. Now, I told people then, they don't have enough money for it. And I know you're going to say, "Your king, why don't they have enough money for it? Sony is incredible." Okay.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Let's be honestly clear. With a stock price of $20.66, and I know this may come to a shock to many of you individuals, that stock price is not indicative of acquisition. That stock price is indicative of, hey man, I can lend you some money to get a piece of something that you have. That's what that is. All right. So when I tell you stuff like this stuff can't happen, I'm looking at it from this standpoint. I'm not looking at it from the standpoint of the super fan or the fanatic that is a Sony pony who feels that PlayStation can do no wrong, because they don't understand PlayStation itself doesn't walk around with money in its pocket. Sony does. And Sony is the parent company, and Sony is the ones that do the edict and that goes out and purchases and does stuff. So the fact of the matter is, they were never in line to do that. All right. We see who the hell they are, and they aren't exactly who you thought they were. It's just very simple. But let's get into the outcome of what I said, because I'm 98% right all the time. And if you don't acknowledge Mr. 98% all the time, you're just going to have to learn. Now, on this day, the information hit, and it was pretty cool. So you would have thought that during this day of December 19th, 2024, that something of this magnitude would raise the stock price in Sony. Well, if you looked at the previous clip, that didn't happen. Actually, they're down after this level of investment was to be. See, now, I know you would love to see my illustrious face, but my illustrious face will tend to block all of this stuff here. So what I'm going to do is back out of this picture and allow you to read for yourself. All right, Tokyo, Japan. The Kadokawa Corporation and Sony Group Corporation today signed a strategic capital business alliance agreement. That's a lot of words for saying Sony gave money to become a person of note on their board. In agreeing to conduct a third-party allotment by Kadokawa to Sony on January 7th, 2025, with Sony acquiring 12.54 new Kadokawa shares for approximately 50 billion yen. With the acquisition of the new shares, Sony will become Kadokawa's largest shareholder, holding approximately 10% of shares, including the shares Sony previously acquired in 2021. So they had, this is in totality. They did have, I think it was 4% or 6% before, and now they have a total of 10%. Kadokawa and Sony historically have collaborated on various products, and through the Capital Business Alliance intend to further strengthen our collaboration to maximize both companies' IP value globally, facilitate wider and deeper collaborations, such as potential joint investments on content field, joint discovery of new creators, and the joint promotion on other media mixes both companies' IPs. In the future, the two companies plan to discuss specifics, innovations for collaboration, such as incentives to adapt Kadokawa's IP into live-action films and TV dramas globally, co-produce anime works, expand global distribution on Kadokawa's anime works through the Sony Corp, further expanding publishing Kadokawa games, and developing human resources to promote and expand production. All right. In a large piece of that, what it was Sony wanted to have the opportunity to get into the anime business on a larger scope with Kadokawa, and Kadokawa has some really good IPs. The byproduct of this is FromSoftware. So the new Elden Ring will not be exclusive to PlayStation. None of that stuff will ever, transpire in that manner. But why take my word for it, right? Why not? Let's go over to one of my favorite channels, PC Gamer. My worst fears of PlayStation exclusive future for FromSoftware has been averted for now. Sony is forming a strategic alliance. That means I didn't have enough money to buy you. With a parent company called Kadokawa, but hasn't brought it outright. Beautiful, beautiful. Sony has increased its stake from FromSoftware parent company Kadokawa to be 10%, becoming a larger shareholder in the business, while the two corporations have entered into a strategic capital business alliance, according to a joint press release. It had been rumored for several weeks that Sony was in talks to fully acquire Kadokawa and thus its subsidiary FromSoftware, as we know a vast library of manga and anime properties. According to the press release, Sony spent 50 billion yen, which is 317 million, to increase its stake in Kadokawa from 2% to 10%. Good, good, good. So I overinflated their actual percentage personally before. Back of the napkin math, thus the company's overall value is just under 4 billion. The two companies say that they plan to discuss a specific initiative for collaboration. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you, right? Their company is valued under 4 billion. Y'all remember the last time they purchased a company that was under 4 billion? They overvalued what was Bungie, Destiny, if you will, the Destiny company. I remember when dudes said they acquired Bungie and they thought they was getting Halo. These low IQ individuals are so disgusting. But they didn't have enough money to purchase them outright. And I explained that to you because a lot of times you have to look at the math of things before you actually talk. So the level of ignorance. Now, I do expect a lot of you dudes to be inside my comments and to tell me, King, I do apologize. You are Mr. 98% right. They didn't purchase them. Don't tell me what money that they put anywhere to get 10% of anything. I don't give a damn. But what I do know, and what I did tell you, is they will not purchase them. So your dreams are shattered, your hopes are dissolved. I did this to you. I stomped on your feelings. Now you're going to have a lot of people out here trying to co-opt this. You're going to have a lot of Xbox people tell you, oh no, I told you they couldn't do it. Publicly, they didn't say anything. Publicly, they never stood tall. It wasn't 10 toes down. I want you to remember the Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King, is actively putting in this work, because I will keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm telling you, I won't stop banging until you become an app. The problem with you low vibrational, low IQ individuals is you don't actually do the research. You don't read. You don't take the time out to understand exactly what's going on. But me personally, I'm going to do the research. I'm going to understand what's going on, especially when it comes to you toxic fan base dudes. And I know you're saying, King, but you're practicing toxic fan base and fanboy warism. You're warring on me, King. Why do you war on me? Don't war me, King. I can't stop, won't stop. Hashtag no Diddy. Oh, that's a thing too. Until it's not. Right? The wildest thing is, did y'all get a date for Indiana Jones yet? Y'all talking about the whole slate. But did you even get a date? Is Project Amethyst the antithesis of what Microsoft and Xbox is going for? PlayStation and AMD are teaming up to infuse games with AI. Project Amethyst tech could support broad work and machine learning across a variety of devices, says PlayStation 5 architect, Mark Cerny. I find it very funny that he kind of dismisses, he acknowledges 1 through 3 of the PlayStation iterations. I respect Ken Katarugi so much for his innovation and his know-how and his unwillingness to bend to the developer and have the developer code push them. Whereas Mark Cerny comes from a different perspective of it, and he touts excuse me, the ease of development of the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 accordingly. And which I just really can't believe anything he really says, to be honest with you. But his work nonetheless is pretty cool. I believe Sony furthering their self in the partnership with AMD has put Microsoft at a different perspective going forth. And I want you to stay with me here because I think I understand exactly where Microsoft is going. All right, so just recently, if you didn't know, Nvidia came out with this device.
Living in a different house now. We're fixing the house that you guys saw the last time you were in my kitchen. And let's see, what were we doing? My hair was a lot longer, and I lifted a brand new HGX out of my oven while I'm cooking something up for you again today. And let me show it to you. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, our brand new AI computer. Look at this. I think I might have cooked it a little bit too long. It shrunk. The little tiny Jetson Nano. Little Orin computer. This thing that's really amazing is that a long time ago, starting with Xavier, you guys might have known that we created a brand new type of processor. It was a robotics processor. Nobody understood what we were building at the time. And we imagined that someday these deep learning models would evolve and we would have, robots of all kinds. Everything that moves would be robotic. And now here we are. We're seeing all kinds of amazing robots. Robots on wheels, robots on legs, 2 legs, 3 legs. And of course, general humanoid robotics are nearly upon us. This is a brand new Jetson Nano Super. Almost 70 trillion operations per second. 25 watts and $249.
Now I want you guys to hear me out. Maybe I'm moving a little too fast. Maybe I'm speeding. I'm checking where the money is going. I'm looking at how everything is panning out and all the stuff that is happening at this moment. And with everything that I'm pulling from different spaces and understanding where Microsoft wants to go with the next iteration of the console, the hardware, the devices itself. Know one thing. Fundamentally, if you listen to Satya talk, a lot of times if you actually listen, you can hear. He said AI, cloud, hardware, services. That encompasses everything over at Microsoft. And being that services and software is key, Xbox is probably leading the charge over at Microsoft with cloud gaming, with cloud and AI, probably the only thing that's ahead of it, right? So leveraging all of that ingenuity and know-how from that aspect of the parent company and knowing what means a lot to some investors, the overall brand. What they did was they broke the shackles when it came to what the Xbox brand is. When he told you redefining the Xbox end user, I want you to understand what that redefining aspect means. It means stop conventionally looking at this guy goes and purchases chips from here and does this and does that and does things in a step-by-step basis. We're no longer in that step-by-step world. Throw out that playbook. That playbook is old, it's trash, it's archaic. The new playbook is looking how to leverage the entities that's within inside the environment that is greater than you or equal to you at that plateau in which they can actually collaborate with you. See, as an entity, you have to know that you bring value to the table. So bringing value to the table, you want that other entity that's across from you to bring the same amount of value. Let me give you a for instance when it comes to all of this stuff. You never want to do business with somebody less than you because you clock down. You always want to do business with somebody that's on an even plane where there's give and take with this collaboration. These things are key with going forward. Now, I'm going to give you exactly where I'm going with this and how I see things going. And I want you to understand from this fundamental standpoint, listen learn. Everything is key here, but listen, learn. Everything is key. Remember what I said.
Chatbots to participate in human-like exchanges and even simplify complicated information. The result? A stampede of technology companies rushing to adopt and use AI algorithms. Now, two big technology names, Nvidia and Microsoft, have teamed up to make the process simpler, not only for developers to build AI models, but also for consumers to run AI on their PCs without accessing the internet. The collaboration means that Nvidia's AI enterprise software models will be integrated with Microsoft's Azure Cloud Machine Learning to help enterprises accelerate their AI initiatives. Nvidia is providing more than 100 AI frameworks, pre-trained models, and development tools, giving customers Nvidia models to use as blueprints. Microsoft describes it as the first enterprise-ready, secure, end-to-end cloud platform for developers to build, deploy, and manage AI applications, including custom large language models. This is the
Now, let me explain when I'm explaining to you that infrastructure, that breakdown, that aspect of it, the machine learning, everything in a fundamental basis. And I know you're saying, King, what does that have to do with video games? When they said Microsoft, they showed you an Xbox. Please follow me. Stay with me. I'm going to show you more on where we're going.
Nvidia and Microsoft's collaboration could change that, making AI accessible and engaging for everyone, without internet access. This past week, game-changing advancements were revealed that could revolutionize the way we work with AI. Soon, consumers with PCs and fancy Nvidia graphics cards will be able to access the same groundbreaking AI models that were once only available to developers. All of this is made possible by recent changes to the Windows subsystem for Linux. Plus, Nvidia's plan to offer GPU acceleration and support for AI in the Windows subsystem for Linux adds to the excitement.
Now, Microsoft has convinced AMD and Nvidia to build a CPU with extraordinary features, but it will never go on sale. This 4th gen NV64H has 96 cores and uses infinity band technology. Now, infinity band technology is something that's proprietary to Nvidia, as far as I understand. Built exclusively from Microsoft Azure Cloud. This processor is set to deliver the jaw-dropping performance by removing out of the server blades the series consoles and putting this into the server blades. This is going to give Microsoft that generational leap that Sarah Bond was talking about. Microsoft has unveiled a custom-designed AMD CPU available only on Azure. It utilizes ultra-fast HBM memory. NVIDIA's InfiniBand technology has also been used here. Now, so when you get Titans inside the space and you take those Titans and you allow them to collaborate to bring forth this technology that you will put in your service, we also know that Satya has explained to you that the AI server, the AI is necessary. We know that's going to be inside the next consoles. Let me cook. I got you. Cloud services, Azure, right? Let me cook. Services and hardware. They told you that new hardware is coming, regardless to what that is going to be there. We haven't found out Microsoft's answer to what is going to be the AI solution. But I believe Jetson will be that answer to that solution. With Jetson and also the AMD CPU, the Azure Cloud technology is being used by the InfiniBand technology, which is way above my understanding when it comes to certain aspects of this. But what I do is I follow the logical steps in the process to get us to where we need to go. All of that stuff is slated to be available and in place by 2026, once the next hardware will be released. The next generation starts in 2026 for Microsoft and Xbox. That all aligns with all of this technology that we're talking about here. The NV64H will be in place to facilitate a level of growth that is unsubstantial to where you thought you was going to see it, right? It substantiates the dream, if you will, of that entitlements. You notice that Phil didn't say dual entitlements anymore. He said entitlements. That is purchasing your game from one place, the storefront. This is the synergy. This is what I explained to you. When I'm trying to explain to you numbers and symbols and stuff like that, I'm explaining to you because this is where we're going. This synergy of that cloud server. And everybody laughed at the cloud when they were investing in it. Well, nobody's laughing anymore. The AI in the tech is going to bring forth a different level of change. But let the man cook, because I got more.
Data growth is booming. Data centers are struggling to keep pace, pushing the limits of performance and energy use. Introducing 4th Gen AMD EPYC server processors. Built on cutting-edge 5nm process technology, up to 96 cores, 12 memory channels, up to 2x higher performance per watt, and 2.8x higher performance versus competition. Advancing data center performance and energy efficiency to solve your most important business challenges. AMD, together we advance.
Remember that $15 billion deal that Microsoft did with Intel? I know a lot of you forgot about it. A lot of you didn't even think about it. A lot of you put it on the back burner, but guess who didn't? The king didn't. Microsoft and Intel strike a custom chip deal that could be worth billions. With Microsoft deal, Intel notches a big partnership as it seeks to regain the former position as the top chip manufacturer. Intel will be producing custom chips designed by Microsoft for Microsoft. Excuse me. As part of the deal, Intel said it's worth more than $15 billion. Intel announced the partnership during its Intel Foundry event today. Although neither company specified what the chips would be used for, Bloomberg noted that Microsoft has been planning in-house design for both processors and AI accelerators. I want you to understand exactly where we're going with this and how everything is going to be utilized, because I'm telling you, we are at a place right now where I think Microsoft is swinging for the fences, and it's going to change the landscape in which consoles and power is perceived. So far, I believe that I have exactly everything that's in place for what I think that the next console and handheld would be. I believe that you will have the AI supplied by Nvidia. I also believe that the graphics chip will be supplied by Nvidia. I also believe that some of the backwards compatibility stuff that you're looking for, that you need, will be supplied by the Azure cloud service with that chipset that is with the collaboration of Microsoft, Nvidia, and AMD in the cloud space. I honestly believe that we have found exactly what the trifecta is, and where we can look at that generational leap that we haven't seen in these consoles. These consoles have hit a ceiling where they can't break through. Even Sean Layden said something to the effect that we are at a point of diminishing returns when it comes to these consoles because we had hit a graphic ceiling. Now, what we have to do is we have to innovate in that space. And the innovation in the space is not being utilized to the point where it's being constrained in such a manner. Games haven't grown in what we think is the depth, the need. We haven't seen it yet. And I honestly believe that this is what they're talking about. This is what needs to happen. So with that Jetson chipset being as affordable as it is, and understand when you buy it at a mass market price, that price drops to the floor. Not a consumer level price. A mass market price is different. And then you strip away all the stuff that you don't need to use essentially what you do need from that device. That device there. Put that device there. That's the AI chip that's on board. Now you're looking at what is the CPU that's going to be there. Now you're looking at the Intel chip. The Intel chip is definitely something that's in collaboration with Microsoft. We're looking at bespoke proprietary stuff that can take them to a different space. But with a graphics card that is everyone uses this graphics card, that's where Nvidia comes into play. Now, if you're looking at your backup pad and the future of all of your stuff, the AI will do all of that stuff in the cloud. I believe that I have found everything that is necessary for the recipe for where Microsoft is going for the next console. Xbox Frontline News. Your boy the King does his goddamn work. And if you think anybody works harder at making sure that the Xbox fan base stands 10 toes down and is stronger, I tell you present them, because he ain't better than me at this. Now, thank you for coming on this journey with me on this Frontline News. A lot of times I'm sitting at the computer, I'm sitting in my thoughts, I'm looking at what the industry looks like as a whole. I'm looking at it from a gamer's perspective, as a business person's perspective, as somebody that wants to grow with this industry and be part of this industry. And I look at the landscape. I just don't look at the surface. I don't look at console sales, because that's not indicative of anything. Because if you really look at the shady businesses that go on with these companies, with buyback deals and stocks and leaving shipments inside warehouses and stuff, all this other stuff that goes along with that is really not here and there. What the new metric was monthly active users, where they saw this as a true metric of who they're reaching, because that data is where the money is. You see, you didn't understand why Sony would rather lose a sale than not be able to put their services in a country where they can track the monthly active users, because that data is money. They take that data, they sell that data to other people. They sell your data, right? They're not telling you that they're not, but please, they're selling your data, because that shows other people how you buy and how you purchase. That also shows them how to market games to you. So they know what their fan base will go for and what they won't go for. So if Xbox people are saying, well, I don't like what Microsoft is doing, well, actually, your data shows something different. Okay, so by looking at where data is and different metrics is, we can see where the industry is heading. We have to get out of the, oh, I sold more than you, or I did more than you. Because let me tell you something. If there's any indication of sales is not a factor in what goes on in our landscape, Astrobot, look no further than Astrobot, the least selling game to ever win a game of the year. Now, we understand that freaking award show is biased or whatever, to whatever extent. You can feel that way if you're an Xbox dude, and for a PlayStation dude, you can be like, hey, it works for me. Whatever, right? We understand that sometimes sales is not indicative of what's going to actually happen. There's other stuff there that actually tells a different story, and we get a chance to see that story. I'm glad that we're doing this journey together, because what we're doing is expanding our minds as gamers. Right, so I'm talking to the low IQ individuals in the back. I want you to sit up in the front of the room. You can tell individuals of their IQ by when you go into a classroom on day one and the teacher tells you to pick your seats. That's a thought experiment. Smarter children sit in the front of the class, while people lacking self-confidence and brain power tend to sit in the back. That's where you got the slackers, the jokers, and the stuff like that. Whereas the people about their business trying to get stuff done, trying to be seen, trying to be heard, understand the process, they're sitting in the front because they don't want to miss a second of information because they understand that knowledge is power and information is key. I'm here to give you some information. I'm here to empower you. I'm here to do that. This is Xbox Frontline News. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for showing up here. We do this every day. I drop videos daily. And if you want to become a member, members are the lifeblood of the stream. Now, yesterday, I put up a goal. I put up a goal for 10 super chats, and Tony laughed at that goal. He was like, oh, you're never going to get 10 super chats in a half an hour. Nobody's ever going to do it. Well, what was the prize was me doing a Q&A session with everyone. I would do it on probably Spaces. You've never seen me in Spaces. But what I'm trying to do is give a different level of interactivity. This is the reason why I'm inside every chat. This is the reason why I answer every question, every comment. This is a reason why. Because what people do is they tend to get into these spaces and forget the people that brought them there, the people that got them there. I never forget you. I can't. Because without you, there's no me. So there's a us. There's a symbiotic relationship, right? A symbiotic relationship. We are Xbox Frontline News, whether you like it or not. Well, I'm going to take that logo and I'm going to throw it on Fight Night Fridays because tomorrow we're going to get busy. We're going to do this thing. And I'll probably be debuting a new streaming YouTube channel tomorrow in conjunction with the Twitch. So to go out on Twitch and it'll go out on YouTube at the same time. And I can sub to the new YouTube channel where I will be doing live streaming from there. Because apparently you guys hate Twitch. I didn't know that you hated Twitch like that. And I'm going to tell you, try to play the Game Pass. Ha ha.